Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Arizona Cardinals franchise. We are here for week 1 and week 2. Now, originally when I recorded this, I was doing a live voiceover, but there were some complications with my recording software, and so now I'm doing it in post. And we're going to take on the New Orleans Saints in week 1, but I want to take a look at the schedule here. First of all, in the preseason, we did go winless, 0-3, so that's never a good sign, right? Going 0-3 in the preseason, that means, well, maybe it doesn't mean much of anything. I've seen teams go winless in the preseason before. Look at the Washington Redskins back in the 70s, they did it, or back in the 80s. Whichever team Doug Williams was on, that one went winless in the preseason, but they still ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. And then you take a look at our schedule. We have a pretty difficult one being in the NFC West, but we do start off with 2 games against teams that are not exactly expected to make the playoffs. So we obviously take on the Saints week 1, then the Panthers week 2, but then we immediately go back on the road for a game against the 49ers, come back home for a game against the Seahawks, but then we have the Titans. The Colts are always a challenge. The Packers are, of course, going to be a big challenge. Go on the road to Dallas, then we go on the road to Seattle, one of the toughest places to play. Got the Niners at home. The Jags, who made the playoffs in real life, we have them at home, so that'll be a tough one. The Bucks, same thing, really tough matchup there. Rams, again, NFC West schedule is brutal. Then we're going to take on the best defense in the National Football League with the Houston Texans. Then we got the Falcons, then we go on the road for the Bengals and the Rams to wrap up the season. Hopefully that Week 18 game actually means something to us for like playoff positioning or something like that. Now, this is a team that went 8-9 last season, and so they're not exactly like the worst team in the world. They were maybe a few lucky bounces away from being 10-7 and sneaking into the playoffs. There is some pretty decent talent on this team already that we can work with. Obviously, we saw the building blocks in the first episode: Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., a lot of pieces on the defense that I like as well, with Will Johnson, Budda Baker. Josh Sweat is a pretty good edge rusher in the National Football League as well. So we have a lot that we can work with here. We're just going to have to put it all together. But a lot of times, new coaching regimes can do just that. They can help a team that is underachieving utilize their talent to the fullest. And as we take a look here at the team's salaries, again, we have some cap flexibility here. We do have a cap penalty of $19 million, but we have $40 million in cap space. Not the worst in the world. Again, we have talent, but that talent is signed to big contracts. Trey McBride to a 5-year deal. Budda Baker still has 3 years remaining on his deal. Josh Sweat just got a brand new 4-year deal. So we have some big contracts locked up. The toughest one is Kyler Murray. And I don't know what exactly we're going to do with Kyler Murray. It really depends on how he performs this season, because we could cut our losses now and just take a $29 million cap penalty, or we could continue to pay him beyond this year and he'd be making 40, 50, 53, $55 million over the next 4 seasons, annual salary. And so there are some really, really tough decisions that we're going to have to make, but if he's playing well, you just kind of hold on to him, and you never know how he's going to end up playing in the new system. We could be exactly what he needs. And now, before we get into the week 1 game against New Orleans, we got to take a look at the upgrades that we're getting here. Will Johnson getting a couple of upgrades. I really want to turn him into our dynamite man-to-man lockdown corner, and it's going to take some work, and hopefully he can stay healthy through the process, but we're really going to focus with him on upgrading his man coverage. Now, he is a little bit slow too. He only has 89 speed, which could end up being a problem, especially in the NFC, where you have teams like the Lions with so much speed, the Packers with Christian Watson. You're going to face some really speedy receivers over here in the NFC, and I don't know if his speed is going to be a problem. I don't know if it would be best to upgrade his zone coverage instead, because maybe that would be a better usage of his skill set. I'm not sure, but we're going to try to work with what we have with him. We also upgrade Paris Johnson. He's going to be our left tackle of the future. Hopefully, he's only 2 years into his career, already at 85 overall, so that's good. Kyler Murray getting a rare upgrade here. You know how hard it is to get a quarterback of his age and his overall an upgrade, and he's only a star dev now. So like it's going to be really a challenge. We're lucky to have him at 80 overall, but you know it is what it is, man. But we we continue to just work with the talent that we have, and everybody else just got the regular auto upgrades because there really wasn't anything specific that I wanted to do there. Well, without further ado, here we are, the Caesar Superdome. Two teams that missed the playoffs last year in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints and the Arizona Cardinals, getting ready to go at it here in week one. Now look, the Saints are an older team. Like all of their great players are older. You talk about Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara. All of their older players are the leaders of the team. I mean, their quarterback is Spencer Rattler, who is really just a project and is not showing himself to really be the quarterback of the future. But I think he will have a career as a backup in the National Football League, which, hey man, all power to you. Like, keep yourself in the league. That's all you can ask for, right? And obviously, their main star on the offense that they're looking to build around is Chris Olave. It hasn't really gone too well so far. He's had some bad injuries throughout his career with the concussions, but hopefully for the Saints, they're able to get on track. But here we are, week one. The Arizona Cardinals kick off, and they'll play defense first as the Saints try to return this back, and a big hit has them starting at the 26-yard line. And of course, again, here comes Spencer Rattler, the South Carolina product, out of the way of Oklahoma. Ended up transferring because he wasn't playing very well there, and now he ends up in a Saints uniform, a starting quarterback, when it looked like he might not get drafted. I have to say that's pretty impressive for him to be able to come through like that. And the first play is a handoff to Alvin Kamara, and he's stopped in the backfield immediately by Wilson. And there's an injury timeout. It's going to be Alvin Kamara, and he's going to go to the sideline and take a few plays off. Saints facing a 3rd and 3 here, and we love to send the blitz on 3rd down. That's one of my big philosophies. I love to send pressure, and it's because of this. You get him scrambling out of the pocket, and he has to throw the ball away. And so the first possession for the Arizona Cardinals ends up being a 3 and out forced by the defense and a punt from the Saints coming. And this is what I want to talk about a lot. Dortch as our kick returner and our punt returner. I don't know about him. I mean, he has that build, right, that you're looking for with your returnman, but he just doesn't have that burst. And it's beginning to be a problem because he's not really making any plays for us, as you'll see as this game continues to go along. But we ended up, with some pretty decent field position anyway out of the efforts of our defense as we start at the 21-yard line. But here's Kyler Murray, who's looking to keep his job, but he is definitely at risk of being traded, as Demario Davis absolutely lays out Trey Benson there on the first play, and that brings up a 2nd and 11. But we're going to be running a lot of shotgun with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a smaller quarterback. It's hard to put him under center because he can't really see. You got to give him the advantage of kind of starting a bit farther back, and you've seen that a lot during his career. The only time they go under center really is in those obvious run situations, or if they're going to be running a bootleg of some kind. Other than that, Kyler Murray is in the shotgun. As we lose another yard on 2nd down, and that brings up 3rd down and long. So first drive of the game, of the season, not starting off too well, but here we are with another opportunity in a shotgun set, tight. And you'll see me do this a lot too. I make a lot of adjustments at the line in an effort to take advantage of what the defense is bringing. And Trey McBride just can't make the catch there. So Arizona goes 3 and out to start their campaign as well. So again, I typically record live commentary for these games. As you can see, there's no audio from the game. That was because of a software issue, as the Saints pick up a first down to the timeless Brandon Cooks as he takes this one across the 50-yard line into Arizona territory. First time either team has done that here today in this game. But I'm looking to fix some of these issues. I already fixed this one, so in the next episode that you see, This will no longer be an issue. You will have game audio and you will have live commentary at the same time. This will no longer be a problem, but it was initially in this game, and I didn't realize it until after I was already done recording the first two games, and that's why it is appearing this way. But I have no problem talking you guys through the action of this game. It was a good one, as a read option to Spencer Rattler. They did that a few times in this game, and it really threw me off because I wasn't expecting it. I know Spencer Rattler is mobile, but he's not the type of mobile that you expect them to run read option off of. But nonetheless, they're all the way down to our 28-yard line already, and they're continuing to drive. Spencer Rattler is now in the shotgun formation. You can see Taysom Hill over there in the slot, but that was just a decoy as they run right up the middle for another New Orleans Saints first down. Couple plays later now, we have them in a third down situation here. We're going to run man coverage because I just feel like our players are better than their players. And Chris Olave coming across the middle, he can't get open. Spencer Rattler tries to run for the first down, but he stopped a couple of yards short. And again, there's that dynamic threat of Spencer Rattler, and he's using it to his advantage as Zaven Collins was the first one to get hands on him. We end up tackling him at the 9-yard line. And I was pretty impressed actually with the decisiveness of Spencer Rattler in a lot of the situations here in this game. I wasn't really expecting the run. Again, he's somebody I think is a pass first type of quarterback, but they do the read option here again. And this time we are ready for it. So instead of kicking the field goal, they decide to go for it and wager some points on their second drive of the game, their first red zone opportunity, and it doesn't end up working out for them as the defense makes a huge stop. And we will start our second drive of the game at the 8. So again, here's some under center action for Kyler Murray, but typically when we do this, it will be to hand the ball off or run some type of play action pass. We don't really want to run a bunch of under center with Kyler Murray. It's just not our game. But here's James Conner as he bursts through. He had himself a big game today that you'll see. And the Saints have another injury on the field. He will come back into the game, though. But a big pickup of about 19 on that play to give the Cardinals a first down. Now Arizona, a couple plays later, facing a 3rd down and 7. We were in this situation on the last drive. We could not convert. Now Murray back to throw again, looking for McBride, and this time it's complete for a first down. You remember on the last drive, we tried to look for McBride on that one, and he was not able to hold on to the ball, but that's not an issue this time around as we pick up the first down, and now we are in the Saints territory, and a handoff to James Conner, and he's pushing through, bouncing off of players, and this is what I really love about having James Conner on this team. A true power running back who very rarely goes down easily at first contact. I just really appreciate that with him. It gives you a lot of confidence when you get close to the end zone, especially within the 2-yard line. And on like 3rd and short, 4th and short situations, you always feel like, you know what? I think we can take this chance. I think we might be able to make a play here. Murray back to throw again, looking for Harrison, and Harrison is not able to hold on to the football. So Conner obviously getting a lot of work. You see how tired he is, but we need him one more time. And he makes the catch, and he's zooming into the end zone, breaks another tackle, and the first touchdown of the season goes to James Conner. Well earned, and he's a big part of what we're going to do offensively. You'll see it in this game and in the second game. I have a lot of confidence in James Conner. I've been a fan of his since he was in Pittsburgh, and I just think he's taken it up a notch here in Arizona. So Saints coming out for their next drive, trying to respond to what they just gave up. Rattler looking to throw, takes off again, and once again, his legs absolutely kill us. We are just having so many problems containing Spencer Rattler today. And again, this scares me so much because the Saints are not a great team. They went 5-12 last year. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we were 8-9 last season. We're not exactly a team that's just dead in the water. We were just a few lucky bounces away from making something out of our year, but the Saints really bad. And we're allowing Spencer Rattler to continue to break out of the pocket. What's going to happen when we got to face a Brock Purdy, twice a year? What's going to happen there? Sam Darnold is a pocket passer, but he's also mobile as well. What's going to happen in those cases where we have to defend receivers like Jackson, Smith and Jigba, George Kittle. What's going to happen in those situations? Well, we're just going to have to see. But in this one, you'd like to see them step up a bit more as we enter into the second quarter of play here. But Rattler not having a bad start to the game. We want to get him, no pun intended, rattled a bit so that he gets out of his comfort zone as he dumps this off to the tight end and they pick up about 8 yards. Second down play here, second and short from our 46-yard line. They're in our territory again. A screen pass over to Cam Akers, trying to dive to make the tackle behind the first down marker, but it wasn't to be. And it's a first down for New Orleans as they get to the 37-yard line and continue this drive. And now facing a second down and 3 a little bit later, and a huge play in the backfield by Wilson. Mac Wilson made a lot of plays in this game. He made a lot of plays in the next game too, but he's going to be a big part of our season this year. He's off to a phenomenal start. And again, it's third down, so you know the philosophy. We are sending the pressure on 3rd and 4. Now, this worries me a bit when they start sending the players out. Like, are they going to be able to find the opening? Well, I guess not this time. It's Josh Sweat makes his first sack of the season, and we knock the Saints apparently out of field goal range as they're going to punt this ball. Now, this is one of the things that caught my eye in the first and second game. I'm still tweaking the sliders a bit, and I think that's important to note because there's no way in today's NFL a team is not trying a 56-yard field goal. And that's something that I want to get rectified and corrected so that as I'm playing these games, the computer is making better decisions. So that's something that I'm going to be working on as we continue to go along. And even when it comes to the difficulty of which they play, again, I play on all Madden difficulty. We're playing 9-minute quarters. If I have to tweak the sliders a bit to make it more challenging because the team seems to be overperforming at an unrealistic rate, I will make sure that I do just that. But I want to get a big enough sample size first in order to determine whether or not that's actually happening. As James Conner is met immediately at the line of scrimmage, he gains nothing. And now facing another third down, this time 7 yards to go from the 26-yard line. Murray looking to throw again. Murray finds McBride, Mr. Reliable, for a first down. Gets just enough, and we keep this drive moving. Now, just a couple plays later, we're facing third down and long yet again. The motion James Conner to do some play action here. Doesn't look like the Saints fell for it, but Kyler Murray had a wide open man and completely missed him. And that's one of the things with Kyler Murray. I understand there was pressure in his face right there, but you still like to see him deliver a better football right there, and he just does not get it done. And those drive killers, again, it doesn't worry me against the Saints because I have confidence that our defense can get stops against the Saints. But I don't have confidence that our defense can get stops consistently against the top teams in the National Football League if we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing offensively. But here the Saints come again. Another drive, this time starting at the 14 after a pretty good punt. Spencer Rattler under center. Hands it off to Cam Akers, and Akers knocked down in the backfield for a loss of 2. Now facing a third down a couple of plays later from the 16. Rattler under pressure, and it is intercepted. Interception for Arizona, and coming back the other way in Saints territory down at the 37-yard line. And you got to take a look at this interception by Michael Walker here. It looks like he grabs it with one hand. Replay coming right here. Take a look at it. Spencer Rattler didn't really get a lot of power behind that throw. Wasn't really able to step into it. But one-on-one, Michael with Cam Akers, and that one hand, the left hand at that, snags the interception, and Arizona has the ball in prime position. So now 2nd and 2, the Cardinals come out in the pistol formation with James Conner in the backfield. And Conner gets the handoff to the left side. Conner finds the hole, busting through, trying to break tackles, but he gets down at the 15-yard line as Arizona is now in the red zone. Couple plays later, it's now 3rd down and 9. We have to get better on 1st and 2nd down, but that's neither here nor there. Murray looking for someone to throw to, finds Marvin Harrison Jr. for Harrison's first touchdown on the season. If you guys remember last season, it took a long time before Harrison was able to find the end zone. Not so much this time. Week 1, we get it done as Harrison finds his way open, gets the ball at the highest point, and comes down with it for his first touchdown of the year. So far, the defense have been playing lights out, no points allowed, but a minute and 19 for the Saints to work with. And once again, Spencer Rattler just scrambling out, slides down, and they call a timeout at the 47-yard line. Trying not to crumble here within the last 2 minutes. Trying to maintain the scoreless first half, but Taysom Hill doing his best Trey McBride impression right there. And catching that one on the sideline. Now, I don't know that I've ever actually seen Taysom Hill do that before. And I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Saints football over the years, but I could have sworn Taysom Hill was more of a power guy, not a finesse guy. Now the Cardinals looking to send some pressure here as Spencer Rattler just looks to be getting way too comfortable, but he finds Taysom Hill again, and Hill can't be stopped from rumbling into the end zone with 55 seconds remaining in the first half. So the Saints finally get on the board, but did they score too fast? Because the Cardinals are going to get another opportunity to match that. So Arizona with plenty of time and all 3 timeouts starting from their 30-yard line with 51 seconds remaining in the first half. Connor in motion. Murray looking to throw. Murray scrambling and finds his man, and rumbling into Saints territory once again are the Arizona Cardinals. They're down at the 35-yard line, and they were able to get out of bounds with 43 seconds left to go. And now Murray, he does have a bit of a clutch gene, in my opinion. He does play fearless. He just doesn't always execute well, but let's see if the execution can match the attitude that he brings to the football field. As James Conner is found for the check down. He only picks up 3, but positive yardage is positive yardage. And we had all 3 timeouts. So you can afford a play like that when you have all of your timeouts. So now 35 seconds left. Murray trying to see if he likes the look here. And he does, at least enough to start the play. Looking, finds a check down again. It's James Conner. And a timeout called by Arizona. So one of my philosophies is on display right here too. I don't mind running the football within the 2-minute drill. I think it's actually necessary to take advantage of the defense who's going to be looking for the pass naturally. And you could pick up a big chunk of yards just like we did right there with James Conner once again. And now Trey McBride into the end zone for the touchdown. Kyler Murray with his 3rd passing touchdown of the first half. 1 to Trey McBride, 1 to Marvin Harrison Jr., and 1 to James Conner. So now we enter the second half with the Cardinals starting with the ball. As you could see, 143 passing yards to the Saints, 86. Well, they're not going to worry about a pass right here. They're actually going to start off in the I formation and run the ball under center to James Conner as he picks up another Cardinals first down. Cardinals facing a 3rd down here, and this is always a great opportunity when you come out of halftime with the lead and the ball, and you have an opportunity to try to put something on the board to extend the lead as Marvin Harrison makes the grab, and we're at the Saints' 32-yard line as we continue to push this drive forward. But these are always such big opportunities. This could be the difference in momentum for either securing a victory or allowing a team back into the game that has no business being in there. We do have an injury there. It's James Conner. He's been receiving a heavy workload here today. He's going to be okay, but obviously something to keep our eye on as this game continues to go along. Try to get Trey Benson a little bit more mixed into the game plan and see what we can do there. But another shotgun formation now for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is having a very good day, very efficient day, throwing the football as that comeback route is caught by Marvin Harrison. As you can see, James Conner with elbow injury here. We are going to try to give Trey Benson a bit more of the workload now. It's now 2nd and 2 from the 12-yard line. Still trying to take time off this clock. I know it's only the third quarter, but this is a perfect opportunity. And Harrison again coming through with the grab as we pick up yet another first down. You know, another one of my philosophies? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Harrison, touchdown again. His second of the day and his third catch on this drive alone. Third big catch. Amazing drive by Marvin Harrison Jr., and he extends our lead by 3 scores. Saints have to find a way to rectify this situation. Here's Alvin Kamara trying to find an opening, and he cannot do it as he's met immediately in the backfield. Josh Sweat makes another play. I'm going to be honest with you, this is exactly the type of performance that I expect against a team of this caliber. As I said, we do have talent on this squad as the Saints lose even more yardage. It's a 5-yard loss this time. Mack Wilson makes another play. I will never hold it against us at this stage of the franchise if we struggle against some really good teams. But if we're struggling against a team like this, that would be very concerning. But we're not struggling. We caused another 3 and out, and we're going to get the ball back. Now we fast forward a bit as we're going to be facing yet another third down here. And we're going to switch to a run play because I really like this look. Anytime that you have the 3 defensive linemen with the 2 blitzing linebackers, we're always going to try to run against that because the gaps are always going to be there. It's just a chess match move that you want to take advantage of every single time. Now, we did have a lot of injuries in this game on both sides that you'll see. None of the injuries resulted in anything long-term, so we're not going to talk too much about it. They were just regular wear and tear injuries that took players out for a couple of plays at a time. So nothing big, no concerns to have if you see anything like that. Now Murray, play action, looking for somebody to throw the ball to, finds a man. It's Dortch. He's not the greatest punt returner, but hey, he can catch in traffic. You love to see that, huh? Now from the 48, we got another 3rd and 5. Murray looking. Murray finding his man. It's Dortch again. He comes through with another catch, and this time it's for a Cardinals first down. Kyler Murray, look at the day he's having so far. 19 of 27, 206, and 4 touchdowns. And look at that. He makes the throw with a guy right in his face. The same kind of throw that he missed earlier in the game to Marvin Harrison on that drag route across the middle. That would have been a first down. This time he takes advantage of the wide open receiver and he doesn't miss. But this time he throws an interception. And I mean, this play was just a little bit too complex. If you rewind and you look at the play art, it was doomed to fail from the beginning because it just had too much going on. And Werner takes advantage of a poor decision on my part, aka Kyler Murray's part, and we end up throwing an interception and giving the ball back to the Saints. But the question is, can the Saints take advantage of this? They are on our 29-yard line. Spencer Rattler looking to throw, and somehow New Orleans is able to secure a first down on that play. If you look at this replay here, I have no idea how he makes this catch. We're smothered all over him, and somehow through all that traffic, through all those hits, being tossed around like a ping pong ball basically, he's able to make the grab and continue the Saints' drive. So now they've got 1st and 10 in the red zone at the 12-yard line. Taysom Hill in motion. Handoff is to Alvin Kamara, and Kamara breaks through. The longtime Saint finds the end zone, and it was going to be so difficult to keep him out of the end zone today. And they find a way to get through, and make it a 2-score game once again. So one of the advantages of having a veteran quarterback is that he's able to make adjustments at the line. You might not see that from a rookie, but he makes the adjustments, and Trey McBride immediately responds, and we get on the board with another touchdown. It's 35-14 here in this game as Trey McBride breaks through yet again, and this time he beats Demario Davis, the timeless wonder Demario Davis, and he gets his 2nd touchdown of the game. So just when you thought the Saints were going to have some type of momentum, it's immediately taken away from them. But Spencer Rattler is going to continue slinging the football, but this time it results in a fumble that's recovered by Brandon Cooks. So the Cardinals defense really on the hunt today, making a lot of plays, Got to finish that one, though. Got to recover the ball when you're able to punch it out like that. But they weren't able to do so on that particular play, as they'll continue to try to make plays to keep the Saints out of the end zone for the remainder of the game. 3rd and 9 here for Rattler. Dropping back to pass. He has a clean pocket. He's going to throw it deep this time, and it is knocked away and nearly intercepted. Chris Olave. First time we've said his name today besides the opening to this game where I was mentioning the young stars that the team is trying to build around. It's the first time we've actually heard the name Chris Olave today, and it's on a deep pass incompletion, as that will now bring up 4th down and 9 yards to go. And we're sending the blitz again, and it immediately pays off as Chris Olave was not ready for that pass, and it falls incomplete. So back-to-back bad plays for Chris Olave, as he has yet to make an impact on this game. I mean, he really could have made that catch or hit him in the hands 2 times. Normally, you want to see your star receiver find a way to come down with that ball, but he was just unable to do so. We haven't had that issue today when it comes to Marvin Harrison Jr. And now under center, and you guys know what I do here. Under center, we're running the football, and it's James Conner as he continues bouncing off of defenders. Mind you, his wear and tear is super high at this point, and he's still making these kinds of plays for our football team. Just tremendous work by James Conner. He's going to be a big part of what we do. Now 2nd and short as we look to chew some clock here, and it's Trey Benson who picks up another Cardinals 1st down, and there he is again. James Conner didn't even get the ball that time, but he still is injured, as that wear and tear in this Madden is really, really unforgiving, and you'll see a lot of players go down a lot. And it's not as bad as the college football game is, but it's still very taxing and something you have to be aware of. And Trey Benson bouncing this one to the outside. The run was designed to go to the left. He bounces it back to the right, and he finds his way into the end zone for a Arizona Cardinals touchdown. And they have opened up a can on New Orleans here at the Caesars Superdome. It's not the start to the season that Kellen Moore wanted for his squad. He obviously has a big uphill battle to overcome, but Alvin Kamara, the longtime Saint again, trying to keep the spirit of the Drew Brees Saints alive and well, and he finds his way into the end zone for a long touchdown. And I hate plays like this, and I'll tell you why. Because we do such a great job containing the running back the entire game. And then all of a sudden they break out a run like that, and now it looks like they've got, 10 carries, 100 yards, right? So it looks like they've just been balling the entire time. Oh, yeah, they're averaging 10 yards per carry. No, they're not. No, they're not. They've been swallowed up the entire game, and they just happen to finally break through on one, and so it inflates their stats. But it is what it is. We get the onside kick. I was trying to dive down there. Instead, it had me dive in the air like I was Superman, and we take over at the 47-yard line. Facing a 3rd down and 3 here at the 40. Pistol formation. Murray looking to throw again. Who else? Trey McBride. As we get this to the 30-yard line, the Saints have another injury. And this time it's Blackman who is hobbling off the field onto the trainer's table. 2nd and 5 here as we near the 2-minute warning. A handoff to the outside goes to Trey Benson, who jukes back towards the inside to keep the clock moving and picks up another Cardinals 1st down. So we take a bunch more time off the clock. We end up with 41 seconds left, and we kick the field goal to make it 45-21, and that's how this game would come to an end. The Saints tried to make another run to get a touchdown, but here at the 11-yard line with 2 seconds left, Rattler looking for somebody to throw to, and Zayvon Collins says, no, you're going down. We're keeping this at 21 points. So 45-21 is the final here in this game against the Saints as the Cardinals go to 1-0. Great start to the season. Offense played amazing. Defense was spectacular. We did exactly what we should have done against a team that's rebuilding from the bottom like the New Orleans Saints are. So before we get into our home opener, I wanted to go over the draft class that I'll be using. It is the 2026 draft class, the most popular one that there is to download. As you can see, we got players like Arch Manning, Jordan Tyson, TJ Parker, Kendrick Falk. So the normal players that you've already seen get drafted, as this episode is being done a few days after the NFL draft. So a lot of these players you'll recognize. The Cardinals took Jeremiah Love, as you see here, in the first round at pick number 3. So all of these players will be available. We're not going to go too deep into it. You guys know what it is already. I just wanted to show you what we're going to be working with once we get to the offseason. So I did want to show you guys real quick. Marvin Harrison Jr. earned himself another upgrade, and I decided to throw this into the deep threat category. And again, the reason for that is because I like to build my offenses in a way where I have a dominant tight end and I have a speed threat wide receiver. The reason for that is because the safeties have to respect what the deep threat wide receiver is doing, while everybody underneath from the linebacker positions have to deal with the obvious mismatch that is going to be the tight end, which in our case is Trey McBride, who is a mismatch for any linebacker that he lines up against, probably other than Fred Warner. And we'll see how that goes in a couple of weeks. But Marvin Harrison, I want to ensure that I'm putting points into the deep threat, unless we're going to end up grabbing somebody in the draft that can be that speedy receiver on the outside so he can play more of the physical style. So here we go with the home opener from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. It's the Carolina Panthers coming in to visit the Arizona Cardinals. Now again, I want to remind you guys, every game from now on will have actual game audio. These didn't because of a technical error that I have since troubleshooted and fixed. But for now, you guys can just listen to my amazing voice with some nice music in the background. And that's how we're going to do things for this episode. But starting next episode, again, that issue is fixed and it will no longer be an issue, I want to assure you. So the Carolina Panthers, coming in at 0-1, face the Arizona Cardinals, who are coming in at 1-0 under their new regime. Coach Alfonso Plays getting his first victory of his career last week against the New Orleans Saints in a 45-21 victory. We're going to look to replicate that here today as we take on a Panthers team that is young and in a rebuild themselves. They have a lot of pieces, but those pieces need time to develop. Now, Kyler Murray off to a great start in his campaign. We'll see if he can keep that up this week. He's facing another defense that it has a lot of weaknesses, I'll say. Has some good players on the team like Brown and J.C. Horn, but overall, it's a team that is definitely in a rebuild, and we need to take advantage of that. So James Conner gets the first handoff after his big week last week. As you can see, 18 rushes, 126 yards, no touchdowns on the ground, but he did have a touchdown through the air. So we'll see if we can get him back in the end zone here today. Now, again, we need to mix up the carries. We need to make sure they're being shared so that James Conner isn't being run into the ground. And Trey Benson, well, if he's making runs like that, it's going to make it a lot easier to split those carries up. Now facing a second and short, still on our side of the field, but moving the ball. And we find Harrison, again, off to a great start this season, and he picks up a Cardinals first down. Now facing a 3rd and 8, the Panthers bring a lot of people to the line. Not sure where the blitz is coming from, but we pick it up, and Trey McBride makes the catch, and he has another Cardinals first down, our 3rd of the drive. Later on, facing a 2nd and 8 from the 28-yard line, a play-action boot, and a fumble down on the play as Kyler Murray can't hold on to the ball, and now we're facing a 3rd and 20 from our 46. So obviously on this play, we're just looking to gain some yardage back. I love this play because if there's nothing open downfield, you're at least going to have this check down that's guaranteed to get you a few yards. And we get exactly what it is that we need, which is about 7. And that puts us in field goal range. As you could see, it was telling me to punt in this situation, 55 yards out. So there's definitely something going on with the philosophy. I talked about it in the first game. There's something going on in that philosophy that I have to adjust so that the computer ends up attempting these field goals just like this that put us up 3-0 in this game. And now out onto the field for his first drive today comes Bryce Young. As you can see his numbers for his career, 5,479 yards, only a 57 completion percentage. That ain't good. That is not good. He's going to have to improve. Quarterbacks have a shorter leash in the NFL than they've ever had before. And if Bryce Young doesn't turn things around, he's going to find himself out of a job in Carolina. But that's a good start to Xavier Legette as he picks up about 7 yards. Now in the pistol formation, a fake to Chuba Hubbard. And Bryce Young's going to run for the first down. He gave himself up, but the referee didn't blow the whistle, but he's down at the 38-yard line. Hand off to Chuba Hubbard to the left side. Chuba Hubbard breaks through, and he is tripped up at the Cardinals' 42-yard line. Bryce under center now. Fakes the handoff to Hubbard. Has all day to throw. We got to improve this pass cover with this pass rush because that's just ridiculous right there. All that time he had to throw, and he finds Adam Thielen as he should. So 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line, and a handoff to Chuba Hubbard, and we finally make a play. It's Mack Wilson again. You heard his name a lot in week 1. We'll get ready to hear it a lot again today as he makes another play, and now 3rd and 8, and a sack almost. We do force the incompletion, though, and they do have to settle for a field goal. So now the Cardinals get the ball back for their second drive of the game. Got a 2-option play here. We could take the screen or we could take this out route to Trey McBride, and we do just that as he finds a bunch of separation and gets a first down. It's now fresh headed down to the 33-yard line, and James Conner, he's the power back, but we make him run a little bit horizontal right there, and he picks up a first down to the 50-yard line. So after a bad false start penalty and a rush for about 3 yards, we end up with a 3rd down and long here. And Murray dropping back, scrambling to his right, looking, throwing. Harrison, first down. So now the ball in prime position. Murray looking to throw, and that one is just completely off target. Harrison was supposed to run a drag route, got held up, and that ball ends up floating right into the hands of Trevin Wallace. He didn't really have to do anything right there. It just went right to him as if he were the intended receiver. So Murray throws his 2nd interception of the game. How will the defense respond? Well, Mack Wilson ready to make plays once again. He gets Hubbard in the backfield. So 2nd and 11 now. Ball to 16. Bryce again with all day to throw, and he finds his man bouncing off of defenders, and he's past the 40 to the 42-yard line. 2nd and 7 now. Young looking. Young finds his man again. Chuba Hubbard into first down. Another first down now in Cardinals territory. Looking to the left, finds Adam Thielen, and he gets another fresh set of downs. Now the Panthers facing a 3rd and 7. Young looking to the right, finds his man Adam Thielen again, but they're short of the first down this time by about 4 yards. And they will settle for a field goal attempt to try to take the lead here from 48 yards out, right hash. And the kick is up, and Pinheiro knocks it through. So for the first time this season, the Cardinals trail, and it's by 3 points. And again, I was considering really opening some competition for the kick return and punt return job duties because I'm not really inspired by the burst that we get from that position. I want to try somebody else there, see if they're capable. Maybe we find somebody in free agency. I really don't know, but I feel like we're leaving yards on the table, and as a team in our position, we really can't afford to let anything go over our heads and under our noses. We got to take advantage of every opportunity that we have to make plays happen. So we do pick up the first down there. We have another opportunity here with a fresh set of downs, and we're going under center, and play action is the name of the game. And Murray looking for somebody to throw to. Murray moving around the pocket, engaging his blockers, throws downfield, and finds Marvin Harrison Jr. So we give the Panthers a taste of their own medicine. They've had all day to throw today. Well, look what happens when we get the same exact treatment. We get all day to throw, and we find a big gain down the field. So we got a 3rd and 3 now. We're within the 2-minute warning, but we're at the 26-yard line. And Connor takes this one, and he's within the 10-yard line. Mark him at the 7. He already has 59 rushing yards on this game so far. And now we're at the 1, and we're actually going to spread them out a bit. And as you can see, we have a numbers game on the right side that's not being fulfilled by the defense. The veteran quarterback Murray going to take advantage of that, and we are in for a Cardinals touchdown as we take the lead before halftime with 1:35 left to go. James Conner with his 2nd receiving touchdown on the year. Unbelievable. He still doesn't have a rushing touchdown to this point, but he has 2 receiving touchdowns. Who would have bet on that? Not me. So the Panthers wanting to make something happen before halftime, but they're already facing a 3rd down and 7. Sending a man in motion to the left side. Young dropping back, looking, still has all day to throw. But that pocket is collapsing and he has no choice but to throw it away. So it took forever, but we eventually got there, and that's all that matters. They got to punt the ball away. So one thing about me, and I'm sure you could say the same about yourself, anytime I have time, especially a minute left to go, I'm never punting a drive away. We're going to try to go down the field and get a score here. Trey Benson gets us started in a good way as we are up to the 41-yard line already on the first play of the game. Now, at minimum, we want a field goal, but of course, we really want that touchdown because that is what's going to separate us in this game. And we find Harrison Jr. What a big play as he jukes towards the inside and gets himself into the red zone. Mark him down at the 19 as the Cardinals take their first timeout of the second half, or the first half, sorry. 37 seconds remaining. Man in motion is Trey McBride. Murray, don't forget he could do this. He could use those wheels and he can throw those touch passes. That's why the Oakland A's drafted him, because look at that arm. Look at that arm talent that he has on display. He just has to find a way to put it all together. But we find Marvin Harrison Jr. on that play. Now we're going to bring Wilson in motion, and we're going to hand this one off to James Conner. And Conner looking for an opening, can't find one, and he is down at the 5. We're going to run no huddle here to try to get a couple more plays off. And again, I don't mind running the ball here. We have plenty of time. We have both timeouts. There's 19 seconds left to go. Conner bouncing off of players, and this time we are going to call our timeout as he's only able to pick up 1 yard, but it's 3rd and goal. So these are the kind of plays that will get a defensive coordinator fired, because you see the same formation here that we're bringing, and you're not making any adjustments. And we're not going to let our foot off the gas pedal because we feel bad. We're just going to take advantage in the same way. This time we send Marvin Harrison on the out route, and we had sent James Conner on a comeback route, made that corner choose. He chose wrong, and it's a touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals, 17-6 heading into the second half. Second half getting started, and the Panthers facing an early 3rd down and short, and Bryce Young fumbles. It's recovered by Josh Sweat, and the Cardinals take over at the 18-yard line. What a big way to start the second half. Already up by 2 scores with a chance to extend it to a 3-score lead. Huge play by the Cardinals defense, and again, it's Mack Wilson. Who else? He's been making all the plays, all the big hits. He has really been the nucleus of what we've been able to do defensively so far this season. And now the Cardinals offense coming back out. Kyler Murray trying to get away. He does. He dumps it off to James Conner, who jukes back to the inside, and he has a Arizona first down. We're under center with Kyler Murray again, this time in a single back bunch right formation, but we hand it off to the left, and James Conner, how do you stop a bowling ball from running over pins? You just can't. Once it gets started, there's no stopping it. And Conner finds the end zone on the ground for the first time this season. His first rushing touchdown, make it 3 total touchdowns on the year. But man, that has to feel good for James Conner. He's off to a fantastic start to the season. Another drive now for Carolina. They're facing a 3rd down and 4, and a catch is made by Washington for a Panthers first down. Fresh set down to the 39. Screen pass to the left. It's Chuba Hubbard, and he's knocked down by guess who? Mack Wilson. Immediately, it's a loss of 4. Now facing a 3rd down and 9. Going to look to try to pick this one up. Finds his man, it's Xavier Legette, but Legette can't make the first down yardage as Wilson makes yet another play to bring up 4th down, and Carolina's going to punt this one away. And again, this is the decision making that I'm just not quite sure about. It's 4th and 1, you're down 3 scores, and you're at your own 49-yard line. This is a situation where NFL teams are going for it. So we're going to have to try to fix that. Marvin Harrison having a big day so far, 6 receptions, 119 yards and a touchdown. Only 1 incompletion when he's been targeted. He's had an incredible day today. The Cardinals end up going 3 and out on their next possession, so that'll bring up another drive for Carolina. They're on their own 40, 2nd and 3, man in motion. And Arizona sending the blitz here on this play. And Chuba Hubbard looks like he should go down in the backfield, but somehow escapes out of that, breaks out, and he's rushing down the right side of the field for a Panthers touchdown. And so once again, Arizona does amazing work all game with their rush defense, and then they just give up a huge one. And now, again, the stats just look completely out of alignment. They don't really tell the full story of how this game has been going. Chuba Hubbard has had no luck so far here today, but somehow bounces that one off, and the stats are not going to reflect the true story of what this Cardinals defense has been able to do here in this game. But nonetheless, it's a 2-score game. What's going to take place now as Carolina looks to grab momentum? And remember, that touchdown was immediately following a Arizona Cardinals 3 and out. So Arizona is going to have to respond. We're still in the 3rd quarter. A 2-score game is nothing. Now Arizona is facing another 3rd down in their own territory. Murray looking to pass. Murray finding McBride, but he overthrows him. McBride had the step, and it's now 4th and 8, and Arizona is going to have to punt again. And Carolina, they with a chance to make this a lot closer and bring this to a 1-score game. It's the Cardinals for the 2nd straight drive not only punt the ball away, but go 3 and out in doing so. And that's not a great sign. They're going to need the defense to step up as Legette can't get away, and the Panthers will start from their own 25-yard line. 1st down and 10. Young looking to throw. Young finding his man. It's Teteroa McMillan. First time we've said his name today, but he picks up a Panthers 1st down. And so now Arizona going to bring some pressure to try to make Bryce Young a bit uncomfortable. He's having way too much time to throw, gets more again, and it's Washington, and he's barely tripped up as he makes his way into Arizona territory. Mark him down at the 35-yard line. Carolina going to go under center this time. A handoff is to Hubbard, and that's more like it. That's what Chuba Hubbard's day has been today. As you can see, he has 10 carries for 93 yards, but most of his carries have been just like that. Mack Wilson, another play made on Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. The Panthers were driving, but now the Cardinals making a good response, and Josh Sweat gets in the backfield and knocks the ball out, but we can't get the fumble recovery. So we were able to recover a fumble earlier from Bryce Young, but this time Carolina is able to come through with it, but they are now facing a 3rd down and 18 yards to go. And we're going to bring a corner blitz to try to affect Bryce Young here as he throws and finds Adam Thielen, and Thielen fighting for yardage, and he's able to get to the 39-yard line. So now with an opportunity to make it a 1-score game with a field goal here, they're going to punt yet again. So again, guys, I hate to break the 4th wall, I guess you call it, but that's one of the things that I'm going to have to fix. I hate that the computer is doing that. I play in some other leagues where we play the computer, and the computer doesn't do that. So I'm not quite sure why it's doing that in this one. I'll have to turn up the aggression or something to make teams more likely to go for field goals when they have those situations, because that's just not something that any real NFL team would do, especially in that situation, being down by 11 with a chance to bring it to 8 points. Every team in the NFL is trying to field goal, especially in a dome from that distance in today's NFL. So we're going to work on fixing that as Wilson catches a play action boot pass from Kyler Murray and takes the ball into Panthers territory. Man in motion. Coming across the right side, it's Wilson again. Murray looking for a man to throw the ball to. Can't find one, but he could still do that. He's a very good runner of the football, and we're going to take advantage of that and use that as the season goes along. Murray fakes the handoff to Connor. A throw down the field, nearly intercepts it, but Wilson brings it down. Take a look at this replay as Wilson with his best catch of the year by far. As Murray throws, and that one just snagged out of the air with the left hand over the shoulder of the defender, and we've got a 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. That's a absolutely huge play because that ball could have easily been coming the other way. And then the 4th quarter with under 7 minutes left to go, that is huge as James Conner, the very next play, punches it into the end zone, his 2nd rushing touchdown today, and it gives the Cardinals a 3-score lead. So Carolina now facing a uphill battle, an 18-point deficit. They have not been able to sustain much on offense here today as Bryce Young throws, finds Chuba Hubbard for a 1st down to the 43-yard line. Hubbard now in motion. A lot of men on the line of scrimmage for Arizona. It doesn't matter, though, as Bryce Young finds Adam Thielen again. Adam Thielen, just one of those receivers that's so reliable. He's had so much longevity in this league. The perfect kind of target for Bryce Young, to be honest, because he needs that veteran presence in that wide receiver room, and the pressure is able to get to Bryce Young. Not before he's able to get it off, though, but in time to cause an incompletion. Facing a 3rd and 3 now from the 30-yard line. Young looking, screen pass, trying to set it up, but Arizona gets back there too fast, and it falls incomplete. Honestly, the way the CPU's been playing so far, I'm surprised they're not punting this one too. But a handoff to Chuba Hubbard, and Hubbard finds his way through for a Carolina 1st down to keep this thing going. Young back to throw again. Young looking, pocket collapsing, and he goes down. Loss of 7, and they're going to run no huddle. But finally, the defense is able to get to Bryce Young again. And they've gotten better as the game has gone along. There were a couple of plays in that 1st half that were just really disgusting with the amount of time that Bryce had to throw. But now the pocket collapsing, the coverage is good. Xavier Legette pays the price for only a 3-yard gain. This is now 3rd down and 14 from the 25. Young looking to throw again. Young, plenty of time, looking, and it is incomplete. Mack Wilson makes yet another play. He keeps playing like this. He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. He's been phenomenal. So interesting in you guys' philosophy here. What would you do if you were the Panthers? Do you kick the field goal here, or do you go for it on 4th and 14? Personally, I think it would be better to kick the field goal, but the Panthers go for it, and somehow, some way, they come down with the ball and end up in the end zone. Tommy Tremble gets the ball at its highest point, and I just can't explain that one. That's just an unlucky play for the Arizona defense, and again, you hate it because now the Panthers have 20 points, and they shouldn't. And it's just one of those things where if you watch the game, you know the defense has been playing very well for the first 2 weeks, but unfortunately, it's not showing completely on the stat sheet. The Panthers try and fail to get an onside kick, and that gives the ball to the Cardinals in prime territory, and you already know what time it is now. It's the James Conner show. And the value of a player like this just cannot be overstated because when you really need to get 1st downs and pile them up, I mean, first of all, the offensive line is doing an amazing job blocking the way for James Conner anyway, but when James Conner ends up meeting like multiple defenders, it's like he can shave off these throws and shave off these tackles rather, and pick up extra yards to keep our drives going. That's just so valuable. And now we find Trey McBride. We send him in motion to the right, bring him back to the left, and he picks up a 1st down. 3 plays, 3 1st downs, and we're just moving the ball, trying to extend this lead. We want to match the touchdown that we just gave up. And so we're going to send another player in motion, and this time we're going to use the field from right to left and get into the end zone for James Conner's third rushing touchdown of the day. He's had a spectacular game here today, and hopefully we can continue this as the competition gets stiffer the next couple of weeks. But Conner is showing himself to be a focal point of our offensive efforts so far this season. It's Bryce Young and the Panthers under center, but throwing the football. Nobody open, looking, and brought down for the sack. It's Zaven Collins as he makes the Panthers give up 6 yards of progress. Now it's second down and long from the 14-yard line. Bryce Young, staving off defenders and somehow picks up enough to bring it to third and short. Now from the 27-yard line. Can they get this play off before the 2-minute warning? They do. It's a play-action pass. And Bryce Young going down again. This time it's Josh Sweat. And that'll just about do it. It's 38-20, and we're wrapping this one up. Now, I do want to see our defense have a bit more of a killer instinct when we're in situations like this. We got them in 4th and 11. We're not getting any pressure. Bryce Young is looking, and somehow he comes down with a catch for Washington. I mean, we just can't allow stuff like this to happen. We have to be better in these situations, especially because a lot of our games are going to be a lot closer than this. We can't have like a 3-point game or a 6-point game or 7-point game, and we end up giving up something like that and then giving up another run like this for Bryce Young. It's just not acceptable. However, I do want to give our defense credit because they heard what I said just now, and they embodied that. The first down was an incomplete pass, and then Bryce Young sending a man in motion. We end up whiffing on the sack, but stop them before they can get a first down. And our whole goal right here is keep them out of the end zone. If you're a defense in the National Football League and you're able to keep a team to 20 points or lower, you are a very, very good defense. Now Bryce Young looking for the first down, and he is stopped just short. So now we have a 4th and 1. And it's buckle up time. It's show what kind of defense you want to be this season time. And we have an opportunity to show exactly the type of dominant defense we want to field this year. And we do just that with the interception. It's Melton, the brother of Green Bay Packers, Bo Melton, who actually just switched to cornerback this year. And he's showing, hey, man, follow my lead. I know how to do this. I'm the one who does this, okay? Follow me. So we do come away with the 38-20 victory to move to 2-0 before we start our divisional games against the 49ers and Seahawks, which will be in the next episode. So we are 2-0 against the NFC South. We take advantage of their 2 worst teams. We're still going to have to end up playing against the Buccaneers later on this season. That one's going to be a tough one. Like I said, we have a very tough schedule, but we started off with 2 of the easier teams that there are to face in the NFC and really in the National Football League as a whole. And we did exactly what we should have done against those teams with the talent that we have at our disposal. So that'll do it for this episode of the Arizona Cardinals franchise. I will see you guys in the next one where we will take on the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.